Hello! Today I'm making an illuminated manuscript, and I'm starting off making my paper sort of look like parchment by dyeing it with some tea. So I just put some paper in some water with a couple tea bags and let that soak for a couple hours. And once it's completely dry, I can start to write my text and draw my illuminated manuscript. So I went ahead and selected some song lyrics. I think this works great for any song lyrics of any genre or a poem of your selection. And I'm choosing to sort of recreate that medieval looking font, sort of like a black letter font. Um, but any font will look awesome on this illuminated manuscript. And I first drew myself some lines so that I could write my text more or less straight. And I drew a couple a couple squares where I will put my initial, that big letter at the beginning of the paragraph, as well as an illustration. Now I'm using some gouache to fill in those areas where I want to create my initial, that large letter at the beginning of the paragraph, and where I want to put my miniature illustration. And I'm going to try to illustrate some of the imagery that goes along with the lyrics that I selected. I'll also block in my border, a nice border that goes around my text and illustrations. And when my paint's dry, I will add some more ornate decorations on top of that painted in area. In the area that I blocked in for my miniature illustration, I'm going to start to draw an image that relates to the imagery of the lyrics. And a little bit of the lyrics that I chose are about thunder and raining, so that's the uh, that's the direction I want to head with my illustration. And now I'm going to draw the first letter of the paragraph. So when I started writing my text, I started with the second letter of that first word, and the first letter I'm turning into a large initial and filling that in on the area that I left for that as well. Now I'll add some ornate decorations around the border in the margins of my illuminated manuscript, and I'm using a lot of gold for this, which goes over the paint nicely, as well as it's a staple of the illuminated manuscript, that ornate gold decoration. And finally, I'll use a little more gouache to color in my miniature illustration. And even though I'm using paint for this, it can be completed with any sort of materials, whatever you feel comfortable drawing and coloring with. All right, so there you have it, an illuminated manuscript created from some popular song lyrics, and it contains a border, an initial, as well as a miniature illustration.